Hello guys, and welcome to episode 3 of my progression series. Today I'm going to talk about my progression itself and how it's been after I got promoted to gold. I'm also going to be talking about a new character that I want to add onto my roster and a few items that I think are very strong in the top lane at the moment. So without further ado, let's get onto the first clip. So in this clip, I'm versing a Tahm Kench. This is the second time I'm versing a Tahm Kench in the top lane. First time I got stomped. This one was no different. Now, I'm still trying to figure out why all this damage just occurs from his auto attacks and all his abilities. I'm guessing it scales with his maximum HP or something because early on it's so punishing trading against this guy. And that comes from a Renekton, which is supposed to be a lane bully. So at this moment in time, I'm not 100% sure if Tahm Kench counters me, but from my personal experience, I'm definitely going to be playing a lot safer versus him and probably change up my runes or my build itself just to try and lane better against him. So if you haven't versed the character and you get stomped by it a couple of times, I recommend looking it up, learning what it does, maybe playing it, and then understanding it and seeing why it is that it punishes you so hard in lane. So let's move on to the next clip. So on this clip I'm playing Graves jungle and I'm versing an Amumu, so I decided to invade his blue buff since he is weak early. And I end up securing this blue buff, but the problem is I overstay and he manages to get a ward next to the Gromp, which gives him vision of me doing Gromp right after taking his blue. And so the kill has enough time to rotate and they both kill me. The problem here was obviously me overstaying where I got the blue buff and I just should have went on to my jungle and kept on farming because without the blue, Amumu was going to struggle a lot with mana problems and so that was going to set him behind. So in this clip, I'm playing Jax, and it's not necessarily a mistake, it's more of a good rotation on my part, even though I got stumped in lane by this Urgot. The important part is showcasing the rune adaptation versus a matchup that you're not necessarily going to win against, but you know that you're going to outskill in the long run. So taking Grasp of the Undying or Fleet Footwork will definitely help you survive laning a lot better and therefore make it a lot easier to transition from early game, which is normally the weakest part of the late game champs, into late game where you're a monster. And I'm totally aware that today's video has a lot fewer clips than my previous videos, but I really wanted to get to talk about my progression since we started this series and how's it been. So starting with that, I progressed from silver into gold, so I got promoted. And since then, my peak was probably gold 3 with 70 points. I haven't been able to climb out of gold 3. Again, I haven't been able to play that many games or as many games as I'd like. So I am going to have a lot more time in just a few days where I'm going to have holidays and I'm going to be able to invest a lot more time into this game and therefore hopefully we'll see a lot more success in terms of wins. I'm also going to talk about a character that I wanted to add to my roster, and that character is none other than Shen. And Shen I've been looking at and versing a lot lately in solo queue and flex when I play with my teammates. And so I've never really found an interest in Shen until I found this YouTuber that is really good at him and makes really good content. And so I decided to add him to my roster. So I'm going to have to put a few games into that before I take him into solo queue. But I do believe it's going to definitely help me gain more skills in terms of map awareness, and definitely going to help me carry a lot more games in solo queue due to his kit. Last but not least, I wanted to go over some of the items I think are pretty strong. Now, take this with a grain of salt because I am a gold player, and so I don't know a lot about the game, but the first one here would be Divine Sunder, and this one gives you a Sheen proc, which basically does max percent damage, max health percent damage, or something like that, and it also applies it onto turrets, which is insane because you're dealing like 400, 500 damage onto a turret with one proc of this item, and it has like a 2 or 3 second cooldown. So you're basically shredding towers insanely fast. Now, second item would be the Sunfire Aegis, which is a new version of Sunfire Cape, and this item is just really strong right now at the moment. I mean, Amumu runs it, which is really strong, and it does a lot of damage per second once it fully turns on, I guess you could say. Because the more you remain in combat with this item, the more damage it does, and it stacks. So, with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting. And if you did like the video, please subscribe and don't forget to leave a like. And I'll see you in the next one.